Cool.
It's weird, it's wild, it's wacky, it's Wednesday. It's Emma's Weird, Wild, Wacky Wednesday Weekly World News.
Alrighty.
That was over the top. Sorry, everybody. And I'm looking at a picture of what must be an ice fishing shanty, you called it.
I feel like there needs to be an ice fishing shanty song in here.
Oh, I should be playing the harmonica and throwing together an ice. Can you hand me one?
That'll
There's one
stop
behind
you from asking questions until I get into the...
That'll stop me from interrupting your news items.
All right.
All the way.
Pick
wow.
your key.
I said, could you pass me a harmonica? And she passed me 3 of them.
I didn't know which one. There was 3 there.
Well, now there's none over there.
All right.
Well, I lived in a shack.
I was just about to do that. But... All right, off you go.
That you go fishing from. And we all call it the ice fishing shanty. Okay. Brilliant lyrics. So this thing looks like okay, we got the picture up.
Okay.
Everybody can see it. Looks like they had to replace the door at some point.
It's a homemade ice fishing shack, I would call it, but they're calling it a shanty.
It's a shanty, and it looks like it has tracks or something, I guess, so you can push it along the ice.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so it was out. I guess it was on the ice because they were ice fishing. And
yeah, I would hope so.
And there were 3 men out there fishing on Saturday.
There were 3 men fishing on Saturday morning.
And they decided to stay for the night. But a big wind did come a-blowing. And they said, we think we're all right.
Well done, babe. That was terrifical.
So,
I played one of them was the wrong key. It was the key of... So ice fishing shanty. Some major news story takes place in this thing.
In Michigan Bay, these guys were out there fishing on the Saturday, and they thought they just stay for the night, even though these big winds were coming up. And they said,
geez.
"We'll be okay."
They stayed in this thing overnight.
They stayed in it, and so it got blown out onto the lake.
So they were on it on land, or it.
I think
they were fishing in a certain spot,
just into the lake a bit. I mean,
then it got blown.
It looks like it's where it's pictured here is on land.
Yeah, that appears.
But you couldn't ice fish. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, you got to be out on the water to ice fish, right? You got to drill a hole.
You're gonna fish from inside the shack.
From inside the shack, that's the whole idea.
Shanty.
Really, drinking is what's the real motivation behind it all.
Right.
If I understand the idea
Drinking,
of ice fishing.
Getting away from the women folk.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah. There's no way they'll come all the way out here on the frozen lake to get us.
Right. So let's stay for the night. And it blew way out into the lake.
Oh boy.
1.5 miles out.
It blew 1.5 miles out into the lake or into the bay.
Into the bay.
Holy. Wow. Did they wake up? Were they like riding along, or did they just like in the morning they were like, where the hell's
in the morning,
where the hell's the house?
A man saw them from the shore,
right,
and called the police or the authorities, and they turned up, and he saw a guy out there like struggling with the shanty to move it.
Oh, he's gonna push it 1.5 miles back.
I don't know.
I seriously, unless he's Hercules. Paul Bunyan couldn't drag that thing back ashore. That's scary, though. How?
Yeah. So a fire department airboat came out to rescue them, but they made it back.
Airboat?
To the shore.
What's an airboat?
I guess it's a boat that, like...
What a crazy term
that
blows
is. Air out underneath it.
That's like a water plane. Airboat? Well, if it's in the air, it's not a boat, is it? So it's one of those with a giant fan?
Oh, yes. It probably is one of those.
One of those
I
huge...
got very excited.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can we go, please? It just looks so exciting.
They look terribly dangerous to me, those. But fun. Definitely fun. But I feel like you sit up so high that I would feel like I would want to have a lower center of gravity. But I've never been on one of those. I think that's got to be what an airboat is.
Yeah.
So it's a boat when they take it out on the ice.
And
they
so they were going to go out and get them,
along the
but
ice.
they'd already made it back. So
the guys had already made it back?
Yeah.
With the shed? With the shanty?
No,
they
still
left it out there.
And it had to be dragged in.
See, now, I would bring skates.
If
I was going to be an ice fisher.
Yeah.
And there was a chance that we might be blown out into the middle of the lake. Wouldn't you want to ice skate back instead of walk?
I think it's a bit of a first, them being blown out.
Yeah, I guess they didn't plan for it.
No, they thought they'd be fine. They thought they'd just stay there. Everybody else went home because of the big winds predicted. And
wow.
I have a feeling, as you said, there was a bit of drinking involved.
I feel like, they're sitting in there. They're like, yeah, what a bunch of wimps. Just a little bit of wind. Meanwhile, they're just like, just like 3 sheets to the wind.
Like,
yeah, they might have passed out.
Yeah.
And just like
woken up and like, oh, sorry, where are we?
When I was in college, did I ever tell you this story about when I was in college? Or more importantly, did I tell it on the show already? We went to my buddy's parents' they had a house right on the James River in Virginia. And we stayed there, and that was a drinking thing as well. And we took the boat out, and we went fishing, and we came back to the house, and we made a big barbecue dinner, and we drank, and then we all conked out. And in the morning, we woke up to my buddy, Neil, whose place it was, freaking out because the boat, when we came back in from fishing, we did not anchor the boat properly.
Oh, this is a different story to what I thought. Okay.
Oh, right.
Wow.
And the boat is out in the middle of the river. The river is like...
A river?
A river. The James River. And it's a big river at that point. It's very wide. It's like...
And the current hadn't just taken it?
It's like several hundred yards wide, right? And where the house was, there's a little bit... It gets a little bit shallow, and it's a little bit of an inlet. So it slowly got caught in these kind of eddies pulling it out, and it hadn't made it to the middle where the main channel was, and most of the current might be deeper. And we look, we all are out on the beach, the sand in the morning, hearing him yelling, and he's freaking out. And we're like, we look out, and there's the boat all the way out in the middle of the river, like just about to the very middle. And then we look upstream, and here comes a giant barge flying, like coming very fast. And we're just like, our mouths went dry. Like we're about to watch his parents' $100,000 boat just get rammed, and it's going to blow up, and we're going to leave. We're all going to leave.
Oh, my God.
But so one of the guys jumps in a little motorboat that's on the dock next door, turns it around, and they take off out there, and they run out. They fly out there as fast as they could go, grab it by the rope, and pull it out of the way just before the barge. And the barge is like,
oh, my God.
You know, because they see the boat sitting there, and then now they see the guys racing toward the boat. And we're all just on the beach like,
Could the barge not slow down?
It's trying to slow down, but
it's in the current.
Huge, and it's filled with containers, and it's, you can't slow that thing down in an
God.
instant.
Oh.
Yeah, it's mostly underwater with containers stacked up on it. So
it weighs... that kind of...
Yeah, like a huge thing that weighs, I don't know how much those things weigh. I have no idea how much those things weigh. Maybe 100 tons, 1,000 tons. That's a very big, but anyway, it's huge, and you can't just stop on a dime.
It's got containers on it.
It had containers.
It must have been.
It was huge. You see those things going out, and it looks like a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Like they are enormous.
Wow.
This one wasn't as big as those most huge container ships, or the biggest ones, but
it was big enough to have containers on it.
And yes, and.
Shipping containers.
Several in a row,
Good God.
front to back. Maybe 5, 6. This is a long time ago now, but we were panicking. At first we were like, we're going to lose the boat. And then we were like, Neil and Rick might not come back from this.
Oh, my
because they had to
God.
it was facing that way. So they had to go in front of it, grab the chain and pull it, pull it that way. And they did drop the anchor. It just didn't hook like they had thought. So it was also dragging the anchor.
Oh, which
So-
is why it went a bit slower.
Which is maybe what slowed it down, but they had to like
But they didn't tie it off.
pull it into. I think there was drinking involved.
Right.
Anyway, that was
Oof.
kind of terrifying.
Drinking and boats, not
But
a
it
great
was-
mix.
It was one of those
Or
things.
shanties.
Yeah, or ice shanties. Sounds like these guys had an adventure that they kind of missed out on. Like they were just passed out. And they just woke up like, oh shit,
Maybe.
we're out in the middle of the lake.
I don't know. It says they were preparing to come in when the wind kicked up and blew them out, but I don't know.
Wow.
It's not a ton
Is there
of
any more
details.
to that story? I know I interrupted a zillion times. Is there more facts or anything that I need
There
to...
wasn't as much as I thought, but like,
It's
yeah.
pretty interesting, though. 1.5 miles.
Yeah, it's a long
Gotta
way
be-
out.
Some pretty serious winds to blow that thing.
Oh, God, yeah, 50-mile-an-hour winds, they said.
To blow it that far.
But,
They're lucky it wasn't
Must-
worse. Right? I mean, there's a chance the ice might have been thinner out there, or like
Yeah.
that could have been pretty ugly.
yeah, so I know that your parents and other Michiganders
Michiganders.
will want to know where.
Yeah, where
It's
exactly?
near the thumb.
Oh, it's near the thumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what. That's my details from the story.
All right. Well, that's pretty specific, I guess. People know what that there means.
Mm.
All right. If you're going to go ice fishing in an ice shanty, tether that thing.
Mm.
And if there's terrible winds, I feel like there's a lesson in all of these. If everyone else is going in because of the high winds, maybe go in. Maybe go home.